The pre-sentence report, or PSR, is going to be your referral for your life and what happens to you going forward in prison. Welcome to my video series, Indicted and Facing Prison, Now What? My name is Mark Blatstein, and I understand firsthand how surreal and overwhelming the experience must be. I, too, was convicted of a felony in 2006, and where I lost my medical license. But several years later in 2010, I was able to get it reinstated in full, and I'm grateful for that. I transitioned then from patient care over time in order to provide you with crucial information every day so that you can navigate these challenging times, because with knowledge and preparation builds confidence, and confidence is what you're going to need as you prepare for your pre-sentence interview and then your sentencing hearing and conversation with your judge. The Department of Justice and Feds, or FBI, have been asking questions, and if you hear these rumors, then suffice it to say that their case is mostly complete with a 98% conviction rate, and the odds are not in your favor of getting no prison time. However, knowledge is power, and I'm providing it to you in your hands. Delaying your next step towards legal representation, crazy. Delaying your next step towards legal representation can have severe consequences. This is your future, which is why it's critical to hire a defense team with a proven record of successfully defending cases like yours. Don't just settle on experience. Choose a team that you feel is a good fit for you so that you can get the best outcome. Making the right choices today, and you can move forward with confidence tomorrow. Should you have questions, please do not hesitate to call. Consider engaging my services at 240-888-7778, as this is your life and your future. The probation officer, probably the most important person you're going to first meet, controls all future aspects of your life and immediate future. If you have a medical issue, you need a comprehensive medical file from all of your doctors, all of the procedures you've had done, all of the diagnostic tests you've had, and all of the medical medications that you're on, double check against those that are provided in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Otherwise, prison medical care is not perfect. And so this, you don't want this to turn into a life or death outcome. Included in the pre-sentence interview, in addition to all of the basic information that the probation officer wants, you need to have your personal narrative. Why? Because right now that would be your autobiography or story. But the Department of Justice has done you a good deed. They've written your story for you in the form of their indictment. So it probably doesn't make you look all that good. Release plan is important. A little premature, it may appear this early on, but you need to get it started, because eventually the judge is going to ask you at sentencing, what are you going to do to not come back to this courtroom again? So you need to have a plan and an answer to be able to have an allocution, which is your conversation with the judge. And it's going to take on a version of your personal narrative so that you can go ahead and express that, you've accepted responsibility. Even if you think it's a victimless crime, you acknowledge that you have harmed victims, and that you understand that you need to do the best you can to make things right for your victims, for your family, and the community last. It's recommended that you spend time self-reflecting. It's not easy to do this narrative, because 7 years in, I still wasn't really facing facts in reality. Then you're going to write your autobiography, a life story, and what caused you to break the law without excuses, accepting responsibility and having remorse for the victims you've harmed. Why? Did you like your federal indictment? That's the Department of Justice narrative, or their story of you. You can count it by telling your own story. You've accepted remorse. You have acknowledged your victim's pain. It includes you accepting responsibility. And out of that will determine your security level requirements: less security, more freedom of movement, quicker out, and the ability to work towards an early release with the First Step Act. Medical and mental health care needs, as bad as they are, or limited as they are, you want to at least be able to put in your position to be able to get them. Psychology programs have a very limited availability, especially for things like autism, borderline personality disorder, and some of these Alzheimer's. Some of these have, in the entire country, only 2 locations nationwide. First Step Back program addresses criminogenic needs through a risk assessment questionnaire that you have to answer when you first get into prison. And so I have the actual questions on my website where you can go in and get prepared for that. Judges use the pre-sentence report to determine your length of sentence. Federal Bureau of Prisons uses the same report for placing you in prison. Probation officers use the same pre-sentence report. It's a different probation officer during your supervised release. And lastly, it becomes part of your personal record, also known as the inmate Bible, which is the gift, it turns out, that keeps on giving. If you're already at this point and don't have the time to wait for my future videos, give me a call and we can discuss your situation one-on-one. Once again, my number is 240-888-7778. So why is it making sure getting the pre-sentence report perfect when the officer writes the report and you check it over to make sure for accuracy? Because redos are expensive, few, and a very heavy lift, because the judge has already made up their mind based on for your sentence, and it would cause the judge to have to go back on all of the factors that went into your sentence. That's why accuracy and completeness cannot be overstated. And once you're in prison and you take all of this lightly, you may be able to get a second opinion, medical second opinion in prison, and that could take up to 3 years. But clinical directors at each BOP or federal prison facility do not have to follow those recommendations. You heard me right. They'll send you for a second opinion up to after 3 years. It can take that long, and still they're not going to follow it. They don't have to. Your security level could be in question. If they have you written into the pre-sentence report as you're a leader, a kingpin, or the one giving directions, and this is not true, then you need to get this corrected. To engage my services or have your concerns addressed, call me today, 240-888-7778. This is my personal cell, and I answer and return all of my own calls. You can also get additional information from my website at PPRSUS.com. P as in Paul, P as in Paul, R as in Robert, S as in Sam, US.com. I thank you very much for taking the time to tune in, and have a safe day.